Welcome back to another episode of the Doomslayer saga, where we put the Doomslayer through different fictional universes and see how things would go. And before I get started, remember, this isn't just an outright power scaling thing, we're also talking about how things would interact story-wise with these different universes. So, the first and probably biggest thing that I gotta say here is, I don't think the Doomslayer would get along with the Straw Hats. I'm not sure if that's a hot take or not, but I just don't think he would. Like, they are way too fun-loving and goofy most of the time that I just don't think the Doomslayer would get along with them. Sure, he wouldn't be hostile towards them, but I just don't see them sticking around, like, as a group. Sure, they might work together on certain missions, like what Law and Kid did in Wano with Luffy, but as, like, a long-term companion duo, I just don't see it happening. One thing I think would at least happen is I think Zoro would try to test himself against Doomslayer. Probably not gonna go the best, but I still think it would be a good learning experience for Zoro. And if it's like an all-out battle, that would be terrifying because in theory that would result in the Doomslayer learning what hockey is. I don't want to imagine the kind of hockey the Doomslayer would achieve. Because, without a doubt, he is a Conqueror's hockey user if he ever learned it, and his Conqueror's hockey would rival the likes of Joy Boy. Let's be completely honest here. I think he'd also be pretty proficient with armament hockey. Even though his durability is already insane, I think he would very much like to use the durability negation of the advanced tiers of armament hockey, and even just the heightened durability of basic armament hockey. And lastly, how would the Doomslayer be viewed by the world government and admirals? Either way, I think they are going to just try and outright send their heaviest hitters to try and take out the Doomslayer. But if he is with Luffy, that might unironically make it worse for Luffy, because I could see them, if they knew the true extent of the Doomslayer's power, I could see the world government sending all the Gorosei, all the admirals, dragging Sengoku back into the battlefield so that he could also be there to fight. Pretty much sending every heavy hitter that the world government has to try and take him on. And if he's by himself, I think, due to the sheer numbers and versatility of all the One Piece Marines and world government, he might have some problems there. Because let's be honest, if we try and bring in power scaling into this, it's not even close. Like, even if the entire verse jumped him, it likely wouldn't even be able to bother him. But in terms of just sheer versatility, if we're not just bringing power scaling into this, I still think he would have at least a little bit of trouble purely due to just the sheer numbers and types of things that are trying to attack him and just sheer variety of types of moves. But I feel bad for the Straw Hats because if they are there on the battlefield, it is going to damn near be a recreation of Marineford, because even with how strong Luffy is, seeing that many heavy hitters on the battlefield compared to himself is going to just give him reminders of the war. And although I think Luffy and Zoro, Sanji, the Straw Hats, like them collectively, could definitely hold their own against the likes of the admirals and just stuff like that, if they section them off and not try and take on the brunt of them at the same time. And a duo of the Doomslayer fighting alongside Luffy, Zoro, and just the rest of the Straw Hats would definitely be very interesting to see. But it would overall be just a giant, cataclysmic battle that would just have insane stakes on the world itself.